Tyler, Alaskan oil production has been on the slow decline since the 1980s, but it's really grinding to a halt under then Governor Sarah Palin. So now both BP and ConocoPhillips are looking to change that. Why don't you explain to us really what's going on in Alaska?
Well, the big catalyst of this was kind of the lifting of the progressive tax scheme that was set up by former Governor Palin. Under that system that she had implemented, it was a progressive tax that started at about 25% tax on a barrel of oil and increased with that price of oil. And in some places, that tax got as high as 75% of the price of oil, which is a pretty steep price for anybody to be paying on that. Under this new system that they've implemented, it's a 35% flat tax with some exemptions, to encourage more production and new production coming online.
Now, I'm not a rocket scientist, but I'm guessing that this new tax scheme is leading to increased investment dollars from oil producers.
I think you kind of nailed it on the head right there. So far, we've heard some verbal commitments from companies like BP and ConocoPhillips, but not much in terms of actual production work. ConocoPhillips has added a single drilling rig to the drilling program in the region, adding about 1,600 barrels per day. But for ConocoPhillips, that's really not a whole lot we're talking about here. But they really want to increase Alaska production by about 30,000 barrels per day over the next few years. BP, on the other hand, is saying they're going to be really spending big there. They're looking at somewhere north of $3 billion over the next couple of years. And since BP has really cut back on its investments in the past couple of years, kind of reeling from Macondo, Deepwater Horizon sort of thing, it probably means that they still see Alaska as a very core asset and a way to grow going forward. And then one other company, finally, Royal Dutch Shell, despite its failed attempts last year to find oil in the Chukchi Sea, and all they got was a grounded ship out of it, they're expecting to resume some exploration there as well. And then on top of all of it, you've got ConocoPhillips, BP, ExxonMobil, and TransCanada all looking to spend about $65 billion to build a new LNG export facility there.
Okay, so those are some big dollar signs, but these are also some of the biggest names in the oil business. How much could an investment in Alaska really affect these guys?
Sure. I think it really depends on, as an investor, your time horizon for how you're investing. The next year or two, this probably means absolutely nothing because it's still going to take a few years to really ramp up production and get the essential infrastructure in place to make this happen. The encouraging part is that most of Alaska's reserves are very proven and very expansive, some of the largest left in the United States. And add more favorable tax structure in Alaska, and as well as Alaska's crude oil export exemptions up there in comparison to the lower 48 gives a little bit of a boost there. You get a pretty valuable asset for these companies all around.
Yeah, that'd be really interesting to see if Alaska sort of experiences its own boom, coming on the heels of North Dakota or South Texas, as we've seen recently. So Tyler, thank you for your insight here. Thank you for watching, and Fool On.